Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs postgame show podcast. The Cubs pound the A's at Wrigley Field. Shota Imanaga was really good. The offense was even better, putting up 9 runs against Oakland. And, the
bigger news.
That game was going on. And also, the most dominating sports franchise
in the
Chicago area,
the last 2 years,
has done it again. There it is. Thank you.
There it is.
Back-to-back champs, folks. CHGO softball winning the Media League again tonight. Ryan Herrera, so into it that he took a vacation day to play in the game.
Look at him in the middle.
A grown man took a vacation day to play in a softball game, and we tip our cap to him tonight.
He ignited the 4th inning rally. They trailed 4-1 early, win 10-7.
Who gave him the lead?
Herb Lawrence.
That's right.
Herb Lawrence revenge game.
Against Odyssey. Herb Lawrence revenge game.
My favorite part of the 4-1 deficit was the friends we made along the way.
And now Odyssey has lost 3 years in a row in the championship, making them the Buffalo Bills of softball.
History!
Well played, Sarah. Very well played. Wow, what a championship. And since Carm took over as the manager, this team cannot be stopped.
There's no better manager in this city. Sorry, Craig.
Cannot be stopped.
We are.
Wow.
If there's anything that's back, it's CHGO softball. The rest of the city, not so much.
Nope.
Nope.
We always got the softball league to keep us going.
Yeah, that's what we'll always have, folks. That's what we'll always have. That said, the Cubs didn't win tonight.
We got hope for Caleb. We got Bedard.
PCA is awesome.
And we got the championship crown right there. Those are real rubies, in case you're wondering. In the crown, those are real rubies. A lot of people get excited about this
How many
league.
people have turned the show off?
If you're listening in podcast form, maybe tomorrow, just know that the celebration probably went on all night long.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about the Cubs now, but just know that I didn't see the last 3 innings.
No.
I'm just being honest. We were watching the softball game. George Bliss has a Facebook page. He live streams the sucker with graphics.
75 people were watching, brother.
75 people. Can you believe that?
I can believe it.
DFW Susie wants a beer bat chug for the softball. We're waiting for Ryan to come back because
he's the one who played.
I saw him on base twice.
Yeah. He ignited the 4th inning rally. He ignited the 4th inning rally.
Something.
So, I did play on the team this year for like the first 3 games, and then I was like, I'm done. They did win every game that I was there, so.
You were part of the team. You get a ring.
I get a ring. Listen, if they're going to give rings to if the Cubs are going to give rings to everyone, basically, in 2016, I deserve a ring for this one for CHGO. Just saying.
All right, we'll get to the softball stuff.
And credit to you for not playing because that helped the team too.
Yeah, 100%.
You deserve a ring.
That's right. Everybody gets a ring. We'll talk more softball in a little bit because it's what everybody wants. We saw the numbers. We saw the 72 people watching the live stream around the Chicago area and around the world. But the Cubs did win 9-2 over the A's. Shota Imanaga, 11 strikeouts, I believe. Again, I didn't catch the end of the game. Shota Imanaga, 11 strikeouts in 6 innings. Are you ready to declare him the ace, or is Steele still the ace for you? Or are they just
Steele's still my
co-aces?
Yeah, I guess
I believe Steele is still the ace.
The thing is, Luke, is that next year, if these 2 guys are still your top 2, I'm not sure if there's going to be the same success. And that's not to be super negative, but I still think they need another starting pitcher going into next year because we've talked about Steele in recent weeks, and the injury history is not great. Shota, I guess you can say this year he has more so been the ace because he's been healthy. and just consistent. But I don't know if he can do this year in back-to-back seasons. So that's why I'm saying that I'm not sure.
Craig Counsell's the guy that has told us a couple times, just because something happens one season, don't expect it to necessarily happen the next, right? Not everything just automatically happens. So we'll see. Yeah. It's been a great signing. There's no question about that.
He's been awesome, man.
He's been really good, and yes, they are the A's, but still another solid outing by him.
It'd be more worrisome if he got shelled by the A's.
That's
What's weird is that he's been shelled twice by the White Sox.
Yeah,
which doesn't make any sense, you know? Like you need to see him do well against these bad teams. So, you know, whatever. All I'm saying is that he's been consistent all season.
Dansby Swanson with a 3-run homer. He loves the basket. Dansby loves that basket at Wrigley Field.
He continues to have a really nice second half of the season since July. I would say since the beginning of July. So, you know, you hope that it rolls into 2025. Obviously, you can't take away anything that happened in May or April, May, and June, obviously. But, he's played better baseball in the second half. And, you know, last year everyone gave him a ton of crap for not showing up at the most important time. You know, he's played his best baseball. Like, he's done everything that he can control at the most important time of the year. It's unfortunate that the rest of the team can't consistently put up enough production to win more games. But it's that's not on him. But obviously in 2025, they're going to need him to be more consistent throughout the entire year. He can't go through a 3-month slump to start the year, right? So
no.
But yeah, no, nice night tonight. He's been have you noticed, like, he's been really solid in the 2-hole since Counsell moved him up there. And I've never believed that he should be in the top 3 of your lineup, but in his recent hot stretch, he's been awesome. He's been hitting in that role for the last
it's
week or
worked.
Two now?
If you would have told me that he was going to bat second for a portion of the season, I would have been surprised. No, there's no question about it. But you know, at the moment, he's trying to go with what's working for the Cubs and, you know, take out the Rockies series. Whatever.
I like Becky's comment. Amaya got some hits. He had 3 hits tonight. He had a triple in his last at bat.
18 hits for the Cubs. 18 hits.
PCA had 2 more hits tonight. So, yeah, the young guys stepped up as well. I mean, the entire offense was awesome tonight. There's no denying that. You score 9 runs. The offense has been great of late. They scored a lot of runs last week, and they continued it tonight against a team that they should.
Michael Busch, National League Player of the Week. He's the guy that goes over 4.
I thought it was National League Rookie of the Week.
Rookie of the Week?
Yeah, was it? I'm pretty
Don't
sure.
let the facts get in the way of a good story.
You went 0 for 4?
Michael Busch got an award last week, and he was 0 for 4. He was the guy. Everybody else was raking. Amaya, 3 hits. Paredes, 3 hits. And Seiya, 3 hits.
Yeah, Paredes, good to see him get some home cooking, because the home and away splits for Paredes has been talked about a lot recently. So, and he had a good road trip, obviously, because the road numbers are a lot better. But good to see him get some produce at home, because the big thing with him has been, does his style fit Wrigley Field? And again, it's one game, it's the A's, whatever you want to say, but to see him produce at home against a team that he should produce against, it's encouraging. True. And they need him to finish the season strong. So, yeah, I mean, these are all good signs. So,
I mean, you're seeing a lot of things that, obviously, again, take out the Rockies series, but you are seeing individually some things that you want to see from this team. I just don't know how many of them we can put a lot of stock in.
The only thing that I
don't know what to believe.
The only thing I'm putting stock in that we've seen in the second half is Crow-Armstrong. It's the only thing I'm putting stock in.
That's the thing. Of all the things we've seen, Amaya improving, Paredes getting better, Porter Hodge is potentially a closer. What else am I missing? Seiya's bounce back here. Seiya's been playing really good baseball. the one you believe in the most is PCA.
Yeah.
I understand that.
PCA's playing at a level that you can't deny that it makes you dream a little bit. Now, these other guys, like Paredes, I'm not buying stock because he's probably not going to be better than what you saw with Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? I think PCA has a ceiling of being better than what you've seen the numbers today. You look at his overall season numbers, but you then look at what he's done from the end of July up until today. Yeah, it makes you think that he can have really good numbers in 2025. Porter Hodge, he's been on the show. I emailed his agent today to see if he'd come on our show in the offseason, okay? Believe me, I love Porter Hodge.
Yeah.
And I want to see him continue to grow. And what happened on Saturday, every closer blows games, right? I don't know if he can be the closer for this team, but I do know that he can be a high leverage arm. And that the Cubs need that, especially if they're young and controllable and developed within their own farm system, right? That the best teams in baseball are able to do that. So that's a good sign. I need to see more to believe in him being a closer, but I like what we got there. And he seems like a great dude. So he's easy to cheer for. You okay? You still excited from the softball win?
I can't believe it. I'm so excited. Lost my voice.
And then, there's other names like me, the names that we just mentioned, Dansby, Seiya, these are guys that we know what they are. Yeah. Dansby's not going to be hitting the 2-hole in 2025. And Seiya, I feel bad. I think we all, if anything, we bought too much stock in Seiya Suzuki going into this season.
Probably.
Because the Cubs did. The Cubs, the reason the Cubs aren't going to make the playoffs is because they put hope into Seiya Suzuki becoming an all-star MVP caliber player and Christopher Morel taking that next step. And it's all been so bad that they traded Morel and Seiya, it's not his fault that the front office put that hope and belief into him, but he's been better than last year. It's just not star level player. It's not all-star caliber. It's not MVP caliber. It's very good. It's very, you like what you see and he produces, but he's not the guy, And so in some ways, it's, again, when it comes to what you're asking me of buying stock, is I feel good about Seiya Suzuki going into 2025 if he's here because he's been good the last couple years in terms of basically what he's getting paid,
I don't disagree that the PCA stock would be the stock to buy based on what we've seen, in what we've seen the last month and a half. I also would point out that I think it's probably the most surprising to me. Because it had looked so
bad,
funky. The defense has always been there, but the offense just did not look like it was going to flip a switch. And I guess you saw some small signs, but it's really turned around for him. And so I'd say it's the most surprising. And at the same time, I would say, yes, it's the one that I would put the most stock in moving forward. Not that the others can't happen or some of them won't or all of them won't. But if I had to say one, I would agree with you that I think he's figured out how to play in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean there aren't going to be moments where he struggles again, but there are moments where you see what he could potentially be. We're going to talk more about the softball championship in just a moment. A lot of people worried about that. Hello to Barb. The godmother is here. We are live always, and we are always supporting our friends as they do with us, Circa Sportsbook. Whether it's pro or college, the app to bet football is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports is sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game. Circa Sports has it all. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 and older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Any big wins in football over the weekend?
Oh, I had Alabama minus 16.5 against Wisconsin on Saturday. Yesterday, I had Cardinals minus 1 against the Rams. And I had the under in the Sunday night game, Bears-Texans. Because there's no trusting.
Primetime unders.
Primetime unders, and there's
Chicago.
no trusting the Chicago Bears to score points.
That's also good.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about Penrose Seltzer?
I love Penrose Seltzer. They're my favorite folks out from Geneva. Seltz-Ups, hard seltzers with real fruit, led by Lemon Seltz-Up, a national gold medal winning hard seltzer with real lemons. They created our unique twist on a lemon shake-up with a house-made hard seltzer and pureed lemons for a throwback to warm weather and county fairs. Also available is a lemon tea-up, a half-and-half inspired hard seltzer. Just released this year is a transfusion seltzer inspired by the popular golf cocktail with grape, ginger, and lime. So they have all kinds of options. It's awesome. Their tap room is awesome, and it's available. Penrose is available at your local beverage retailer, or you can visit their tap room, like I just said, in Geneva. For more information, go to penrosebrewing.com or follow them on social media at Penrose Brewing. So,
wonderful. Wonderful. Good people. Good flavor. Wet the whistle a little bit.
Hell yeah, brother.
Cubs win 9-2 over the A's. CHGO beats Odyssey. Well, again, we'll talk about that and again just a little bit. The news before the game, and we hope that Jared Willis is going to be able to join us before the end of the show from Wrigley Field. Why is Jared at the press box tonight instead of Ryan? Because Ryan took the night off to play softball, and Jared is the hero that we did ask
Jared
for.
is the hero that no one will talk about.
Mm-hmm.
When they make the championship video,
right?
Jared has
DVD,
to be in it.
They still make DVDs?
Yeah. When they make the Blu-ray disc,
yeah.
Jared,
about the CHGO softball team.
Yeah, they will have to put Jared in the video because if he doesn't take Ryan's spot tonight, Ryan can't man third base and get up all those ground balls to help us win. That's just the fact of the matter, man. I'm pretty sure he played third base tonight. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good
Unbelievable.
Good story.
And that guy named Ben was real good, too.
There were like two Harrises, too.
A couple of Harrises. Good.
Carm had some ringers, man. Great people.
All season, though. Hey, so before the game, the news was from Craig Counsell, if he's healthy, Justin Steele will pitch. And he had another session again today. See how he feels tomorrow. They think, according to Taylor McGregor, he could pitch this homestand. I don't believe there's a starter for Wednesday yet. Cody, you know how I feel about this.
I know how you feel.
There are now 12 games left in the regular season. The Cubs entered tonight with a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Why? Why? No matter how much he wants to, why would you let Justin Steele pitch after he's had tendonitis in his elbow?
There's no real good reason.
What's the risk reward? I don't understand. Okay, if it's got to do with he has to pitch a certain amount of innings or make a certain amount of starts for his contract, just give him the start. Just say, here's what I don't know if that's I have no idea if that's it. I'm just saying I'm sure he wants to pitch. I want him to want to pitch. But I don't understand why the organization would let him pitch.
Yeah.
Even if he's healthy.
On yesterday's podcast with Corey and Brendan said something along the lines of like proving that he's healthy going into the offseason. It is just one start, but yeah, I mean, it means nothing. So like that's the risk of it. Again, I don't get it. I'm with you. I wish I could sit here and play devil's advocate. I don't support pitching him just to quote unquote prove he's healthy. I know there's something about, hitting maybe there's something about getting a certain amount of innings, whatever.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't see a point in it either. It'd be nice to just give a guy in Iowa an opportunity. You got guys, like at this point.
I'll be honest with you, I don't need to see Shota pitch again this season.
Yeah,
I don't need to have him hit any more innings. I'm good.
Right, like it really doesn't.
I'm not saying the games don't mean anything, but like isn't there somebody you could put in there?
We could do this conversation with other guys on the roster and guys in Iowa that makes sense. Like, for instance, Kevin Alcantara is on the 40-man. I don't think he should be promoted because he's only been in Iowa for like a month or whatever, but he is on the 40-man. You could call him up because the rest of these games, the rest of the season don't matter. You have to put Owen Casey on the 40-man this offseason anyway. At this point, especially after you lose a series to the Rockies, why haven't we just called him up and give him the last 2 weeks or whatever? I understand I guess the fact that they want him to play out the rest of the minor league season and then there'll be like 1 week left, so maybe we see him next week. But it's just like, what is the point? You're risking injury for guys that are probably going to be here next year. And it goes, and we're having this exact conversation about Justin Steele. So listen, none of it really makes sense to me in terms of like the short term. When we're thinking about long term, it makes all the sense to just shut him down the rest of the season. It really does. So I don't know, man.
I don't know. I really don't. I guess you don't want to give up until it's time to give up, but
it's time to give up. You lost 2 or 3
you
of
know,
the
I
Rockies.
feel that way.
Yeah. Well, no, I've thought this for 2 weeks now, Luke.
Yeah, I know.
And anyone else who had any hope going into the weekend, it has to be gone because you can't lose 2 or 3 of the Rockies. You can't lose 2 or 3 of the Rockies and then go into Monday and think you still have a shot. I'm sorry. It's over. It's Vince Carter at the dunk contest in 1998 or whatever it was when he says it's over. You know, like I don't, it is what it is, man. The only thing that will give any of us any entertainment this last 2 weeks is to see some of these young guys play. How many more AAA at-bats does Owen Casey need, dude? You're not trying to win games anymore, so don't feed me the whole like, oh, he's not going to get any at-bats. Dude, just sit Hap for a couple games. I'm not even saying Casey has to play every single day. I'm just saying, like, get him some experience because at least he can see some of it and then take what he learns from it into the offseason. And if he struggles like PCA did, PCA had 20 plate appearances.
Let that fuel his offseason.
He had 20 plate appearances in September last year. And everyone thought this guy was cooked from those 20 plate appearances. All I'm saying is if Casey comes up, he can get a little bit of a taste. And if he struggles, it allows him to go into the offseason and work on some things that maybe he hadn't already worked on, you know? Like that's the point. That's where we're at. It's over. Let's see some young dudes, dude. That's where I'm at. I think that's where everyone's at. I think that's why no one cares that the Cubs won 9-2 tonight. The only thing people probably cared about from this game is the fact that Shota looked great again. You know, when PCA had a 2-hit game, Amaya had a 3-hit game. So it's nothing against Steele, man. Like I would love to see him be healthy and pitch, but at the same time, when you're thinking about long term, it makes no sense. Absolutely no sense to bring him back.
Agreed. Cody Bellinger, that was Bob Nightingale, is that right? That said he's expected to opt in.
He wrote in his notebook on Sunday that it's expected that Cody Bellinger is going to opt in.
What's a lot of money?
It would make $27.5 million next year.
I mean, it's
So
if it were me, I would opt in.
It was like, you remember when we talked last week about like the 4 scouts that are going to be let go or whatever?
Yeah.
It was like one of those bullet points. Like there's no other context to it. It's not. I don't even know if you can fully like report that it's fully fact. All Bob said is that it's expected that Bellinger is going to opt in. That's all it said.
I expect him to do as well. Although I expected Stroman to opt in.
Sure. Yeah. So I will say this and we're talking about this because it's kind of been part of the discourse all season related to Bellinger is like, you know, when he goes through some stretches where he's not slugging or he's not producing enough offensively, a lot of people are like, oh, he's going to opt in now and we're so screwed, which that's an irrational thought that I don't understand. And then when he does play well, people are like, oh, he's going to opt out. And, you know, like it's it's lose-lose, it feels like, from my perspective watching fans react to this. I understand why fans want him to opt out because you have too many outfielders. You have Owen Casey, you have Kevin Alcantara. Whatever. You have Ian Happ and you have Seiya Suzuki too. PCA is going to be your starting center fielder next year. For me, when it comes to Cody Bellinger, the one thing that I don't think people are really thinking at the same time of this quote-unquote news is that the Cubs could trade him. I just don't know what they would get back in return.
After he opted in, trade him, yeah.
Because he's going to make $27.5 million next year, and I feel like because of that price,
his value would be greatly diminished because somebody would have to pay him $27
You would probably have to send something good with him as well if you really wanted to take that money off the books.
Then you might as well just have a good player on your team.
Right. I don't think it's
not a superstar player.
Right. I don't think it's the worst scenario that he opts in. What the Cubs have to figure out, what the Cubs have to do, though, is they do have to get creative and find a way to move some of their outfielders. And that's when I'm looking at Ian Happ or Seiya Suzuki. I know they have no trade clauses, but it's not like guys with no trade clauses have never been moved before. That's just the bottom line.
It's not. Or you have to trade some of your prospect wealth for
or you have to trade some of your prospect capital. And if you can move a guy like Owen Casey for a big time bat, okay. Like that will help, that will set you up for more in the present. Because another thing that I think fans aren't really thinking about too is like next year, say they find a way to get Casey on the opening day roster next year. Okay, great. But how are you going to play him every day when you have Seiya Suzuki, Cody Bellinger, Crow-Armstrong, Ian Happ, and Mike Tauchman is also on this roster as we speak. Maybe they move him this offseason, whatever. But either way, Bellinger, Tauchman, and Casey, all three left-handed bats, they're going to have to do some maneuvering, man. They're just going to have to. And so whether they trade Casey or not, you have to do some maneuvering. You got to get creative on the trade market, and that's just the bottom line. It is what it is, man. And they have to be right about it, or else we'll sit here and yell about it for years to come, like Barb does. And she still yells about Michael Bush.
She was just asking,
even though Michael Bush
trade
has
him
been
to the Dodgers
awesome.
to get Ferris back.
Yeah,
I saw Jake Hayes in 20, another good one of our followers, listeners, viewers says, no, don't trade Casey. No. I understand that we're not saying please trade specifically Casey.
I'm not even advocating.
I just don't want to be afraid to trade prospects for known commodities at the major league level.
If you can get Vladimir Guerrero Jr. somehow, some way, I'm sending Owen Casey to freaking Canada on the first flight.
He's Canadian.
Yeah. He'd love to go to Canada.
He'd be excited.
If you can get Vlad Jr. in a trade for a guy like Owen Casey, I'm here for it. And then you just pay Vlad Jr. whatever it takes to keep him around, because he'll be in a walk year next year. So if you do trade Casey for Vlad Jr., you have to pay him. You have to. So again, we're going to talk about this stuff all season.
Casey, Vlad. Some names you could throw around. I'm kidding. It's never going to happen.
Whether you want to believe Bob or not, because Bob is, everyone knows the joke online. If it does, the decision between Cody Bellinger opting out or opting into his second year with the Cubs it will be telling of how the Cubs are going to act this offseason, I think. Realistically, with this knowledge of him opting in, makes me further believe that the Cubs aren't going to change much this offseason. And that's not a good thing. So I am fearful of yet another boring offseason. That's all the base of it. That's what it leads me to feel, because I feel like they're not going to change much with this offense if he indeed does opt in. But that's nothing against Cody Bellinger. This is all about the front office and their inability to construct the right roster.
All right. Well, we're losing the live YouTube chat because now everybody's talking about Chili's.
Chili's? Dude,
we're going to tell you about something more exciting than Chili's.
Those chicken crispers. Oh.
You know what's better than Chili's? Prize Picks.
Prize Picks. Oh. I won $200 on Prize Picks last week.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And you didn't buy anything. I thought you'd come in with donuts or something. But anyways.
Some of us got rent to pay, brother. Okay. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers, Luke. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. All right. In the month of September, Prize Picks has this awesome deal. All right. I know it looks tough right now for Caleb Williams to throw for a passing yard, but he has actually done it the last 2 weeks. He has thrown for more than 1 passing yard. And then it gets real tough after that. But he has thrown for more than 1 passing yard, and that's a free square on Prize Picks the entire month of September. So go on Sunday when you wake up and you prepare your body and you talk yourself into Bears somehow winning, log on to Prize Picks and just put that free square in there, get an automatic win, do some other Bears props that are on Prize Picks and Colts ones because you have to do 2 different teams whenever you do it. But you get one. Their promo for the entire month of September is 1 Caleb Williams passing yard. Gets you 1 win on Prize Picks the entire month of September. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win in every football weekend. So that's 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss this deal on Prize Picks because it's gone when September ends. I'm just saying. It's a great deal, all right? Last night I had that exact prop in my entry. I had Caleb Williams to throw a passing yard, and then unfortunately I had Joe Mixon to score a touchdown. He did not score a touchdown. And then I had C.J. Stroud less than passing yards. And I don't think that one did not work out for me.
But you won $200.
Yeah, earlier in the week. But
so
yeah. So you win some, you lose some. You
have fun along the way, daily fantasy sports.
You have fun along the way. That is what daily fantasy sports is. You win some, you lose some. Just try to be even at the end of the day, honestly. Anyway, maybe you can be better than me and be more and better than that. You can just do it for a living. Some people do. All right, download the Prize Picks app today and use code CHGO and get $50 instantly when you play $5. I mean, just to get started, $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CHGO on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game, brother.
Before you hit the road this fall, head to Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram and start your adventure there. This September, shop new, lower prices across their huge inventory during Jeep Adventure Days going on right now. For a limited time, lease the new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo for just $239 a month for 27 months. Or shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. Let the amazing team at Ray CDJR help you during each step of your car shopping journey. With Ray's Price Promise, the numbers you're hearing right here on the podcast are the same that you can expect to shop in-store and online. That's because Ray's Price Promise means no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees. Since they prioritize affordability for their customers, hurry into Ray's CDJR today and shop one of the Chicago area's largest inventories. Then drive home with more money in your pocket than you'd expect. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram because they're the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or RayCDJR.com, serving the community since 1963. You know, by the way, speaking of Chili's, I did have their fajitas a couple weeks ago. And I'm not going to lie, they were pretty good.
Have you? Okay.
Pretty good.
As the #1 foodie at CHGO, Luke Stuckmeyer, have you ever just got the appetizers there?
No.
You got to get
honest,
the appetizers.
It had probably been a dozen years since I'd had Chili's. And just recently had the fajitas and thought,
Chili's,
maybe I will go back to Chili's a little more.
In my
often.
personal opinion, Chili's is the #1 franchise sit-down restaurant in America.
Well, the chips are addictive.
Yeah. Well, you get free chips and salsa when
I know,
go.
and they're great.
Yeah.
They're great.
But their appetizers are awesome. I love their quesadillas as well. I mean,
I think they used to have a thing called a rainbow chicken or something like that. I used to like it. It had it was good.
Yeah.
I don't think they have that anymore. Anyways.
Chili's. Oh, speaking of, well, this doesn't have anything to do with Chili's. However, Shota Imanaga might love Chili's because he's become very accustomed to all things America.
Yeah.
Here in Chicago this year. But Marquis tweeted a graphic 6 minutes ago about Shota continuing to climb the Cubs rookie strikeout leaderboard. Now he's tied for 4th in Cubs history behind Kerry Wood, Sam Jones, Ken Holtzman, and he's tied with Dick Drott. I think that's how you say his name. In 1957.
Who?
Dick Drott?
Drott?
D-R-O-T-T?
Don't know.
Godfather probably knows who I'm talking about.
Never met him.
I don't know. But Kerry Wood had 233 in 1998. Sam Jones had 198 in 1955. Ken Holtzman 171 in 1966, and Shota Imanaga has 170. So if Imanaga makes another start, he could be in 3rd place by the end of the season, which he probably will start again.
Guess what? I heard a little noise that lets me know Jared Willis is ready to join us from beautiful historic Wrigley Field. He is in a different location than which Ryan Herrera joins us. Ryan usually joins us from a stall, and it appears Jared is somewhere much nicer. But Jared, have you heard the good news? Have you heard the big news outside of the press box? Did they announce it at the Cubs game?
They should have. They did.
That CHGO is once again the Media League champions. Nope. See, I told you, Jared can't hear it.
He can't hear us.
Jared can't hear us.
He's typing.
He's doing a story right now. Anyways, we'll get back to Jared in a couple minutes. Let's talk more about this softball win because, it's huge. DFW Susie says it looks like he's in a storage locker. It did sort of.
I was thinking the same thing.
Barb wants me to take Cody to Chili's after the game, and I wonder if that's where the softball team is right now celebrating back-to-back championship. Do we have the clips, Sarah? Do we have the clip of the final? I know for some people in podcast form, this is not going to play very well. But there is play-by-play to it. George Bliss, great play-by-play, does a live stream. Just listen to the final out and the joy around the city of Chicago when, again, Chicago had a champion.
When the trophy presentation, and there's a high fly ball. This could do it. And CHGO repeats as Cup Media League champions. They played a beautiful game, both defensively and offensively. They hung in there. They were down 3 early. They did not get dissuaded. They come back and they win the title. And for Odyssey, their 3-year curse continues.
You can hear Ryan. He's in there. He's like, let's go.
3-year curse, 3-year curse. My favorite part about that is George sounds exactly like Lou Canellis. You still can't convince me that game wasn't broadcast on Fox 32.
Right.
Because that's sure what it sounded like. And by the way, Joey, who we're going to lose,
unfortunately,
obviously an emotional win. He is contemplating coming back and playing on the team next year.
Credit to him.
Credit to him. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
All right. Can Jared hear us now? Do we have Jared? Thumbs up from Jared. Jared, question number 1. Did they announce it at Wrigley Field? Was it on the scoreboard that CHGO was back-to-back champs, being the most successful franchise now in all of Chicago at the moment?
They put it on the scoreboard. They actually stopped the game to
As
announce
a tip of the
it.
cap. Yeah,
that's right. The crowd, the crowd just roared. I was asked to sing the 7th inning stretch. I had to politely decline.
Wow.
We were too locked into the game to see that. Shit, I missed that.
Yeah, I mean they put it on the video board in left field. The last
outfielders turned around to see it. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, right? That's the way it goes.
Yes, let the record show that is exactly what happened.
Ian Happ turned around. He's like, who is that guy with the great beard?
Yeah. Bleacher Jeff was in the front row at our game instead.
Yeah.
He
was pounding the bleachers.
Jared, we spent some of the early part of the podcast talking about Justin Steele and the comments. That was before the game, right? That Steele, if he's healthy, is going to pitch. what factors into this decision for the Cubs? Because for me, on paper, when you have a 0.2% chance of the postseason and there's 12 games left, I personally, just me, I don't understand it. Other than I know the player would obviously want to pitch.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with that. For a player, it's just for them mentally, it's good to finish the season healthy, to finish the season on as good of a note as they can. So even for him, like they know, I mean, this isn't like you're bringing him back because you're truly competing for a playoff spot. So I think this has a lot more to do with the note that he wants to end the season on, and that's not, needing to be shut down at the very beginning of September and then not pitching in the final month at all. And he's feeling good enough to come back, and so he'll have the chance to come back and make one or two starts. And I think that's just, again, it's about like the way that he wants to finish the season for himself. And so then he can go into 2025 kind of feeling like, well, at least I finished on a good note.
I see in the live YouTube chat that Craig Brindle agrees with me. Credit to Craig. So we were also talking, Jared, about all the guys that have really shown well in the last month or so, right? There's been a lot of positives. We've seen Miguel Amaya kind of turn his season around. We've seen PCA emerge as a potential superstar in the game. We've seen Seiya really start to care. We've seen Swanson start to come back. Which of these players, Shota Imanaga, great again. Who did Counsell highlight tonight after the game? Because you could go so many directions as a manager. I'm curious who he decided to talk about after the game.
Yeah, I mean, most of the talk in the post game, with Craig and with really the guys in the clubhouse was about Shota, about his pitching tonight, but then also like just big picture about the season that he's had. Here we are getting now into the last, what do they have, 12 games left? And Shota is still giving you 6 innings, approaching 100 pitches, 11 strikeouts tonight. So it was mostly about Shota. But when we did talk about the offense, the one player that Counsell made a point to highlight was Crow-Armstrong for the bunt in that 5-run inning, and talked about how that kind of helped set up the big inning from there. So he was the guy who was highlighted. That Craig, no one asked him about Crow-Armstrong. Craig brought him up on his own. But yeah, it was predominantly, this was the night of Shota.
See, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if nobody asked a question about PCA and the managers even pointing it out, to me that tells me more. Everybody knows Shota's had a great season. Like it's true. Like he's been a terrific signing. But Cody and I were saying, if I had to put my stock into one thing I've seen late in the season, even though it's probably the most surprising a month ago or 2 months ago, I'd put my stock in PCA repeating what he's doing now again next year, as much as I would any of those other things happening. And not because he put down a good bunt, he just seems to do something every night, Jared.
Yeah, and you're seeing the way that the defense has always been there, and earlier in the season we're talking a lot about like you're there for your glove, and whatever you do at the plate is gravy. But we're seeing some of those adjustments that you want to see from a young hitter who maybe needs some time in the majors to see more major league pitching so that he can get more comfortable at the plate, because a lot of those at bats early on, like we all saw it, he didn't always look very comfortable. But I asked Dansby about that in postgame tonight. When you're watching a young hitter like PCA and you're seeing what he's doing over the last few weeks, month or so, and that's what Dansby said. He's like, sometimes you see these young guys come up and they're really successful right out of the gate, but then some of them come up and they need some time. It takes a little while before they start to adjust, and I think that's what we're seeing with Crow-Armstrong. So knowing that he's doing that, it should be reason for optimism about what his 2025 is going to look like.
I am curious to like just your overall vibe about this team right now, I guess, in the clubhouse. I know you're not there every day like Ryan is, but And I know that
he's there a lot.
Yeah, he is, except for tonight. Credit to Jared.
No, I mean Jared's there a lot too.
Well, I know Jared's there a lot. I'm just saying. Never mind. You know what I'm saying.
I had to be here so Ryan could win the championship.
You're right.
There's important stuff going on.
Exactly.
Jared Willis, hero.
We already said you deserve to be on the championship video or DVD.
Right. The Blu-ray. When the Blu-ray comes out, you will be in the credits at the very least.
Right. The point I was trying.
I want a spot in the video. I want a ring. Yeah. Exactly.
The point that I'm trying to get at here is that based off the players know that like the percentage points are low. So like, I don't know, based off, I guess tonight, based off any other night, maybe the last time you were there, is still the same? Does it feel any, I wouldn't say it would be deflating tonight because they won 9-2, but do you get a different vibe from everyone in the clubhouse or even Craig?
There was a little bit of talk in pregame from Craig about just, hey, our record is what our record is. And, the not necessarily being happy about that, but just, needing to accept that this is what has happened. This is what this season has been. And I mean, the players' demeanor is as consistent as anything I've ever seen. For as much as I am in there, the vibe in that club, that locker room, rarely feels any different. And that can be, something that really works to your advantage. This is why maybe a team can recover from 2 really bad months and then get themselves back into, at the very least, finishing the season with a winning record, which is saying a lot given where they were back in late June. But yeah, we all know, they know the mathematical odds of you getting a playoff spot are about as slim as you can get right now. But they're competitive. They have things to play for. There's guys who just want to compete, want to win no matter what. But then there's also guys like Isaac Paredes who, he's got arbitration coming up this offseason. There's Cody Bellinger who's probably going to, if he plays well enough, wants to, he may opt out and he's got a contract he's thinking about. There's stuff like that these guys are still, there's still something to play for. But yeah, there's no questioning the fact that you aren't in the locker room of a team that realistically has its sights set on we're going to be in a playoff series in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to know from pre or post game today that happened out at Wrigley Field? Any nuggets?
I did. I'll share this really quickly. A cool moment with Patrick Wisdom, who's the Roberto Clemente award nominee for the Cubs. He was with a young girl from St. Jude's Hospital and spent a lot of time with her. They were, she gave him some cleats and gloves and stuff, and he was giving her some stuff. And he really spent a lot of time talking to her and just, we all know Patrick Wisdom's a good guy, but it's cool to see I had the chance to kind of watch that, firsthand before the game. So a really great moment with him. And regardless of what he does on the field, that's a guy who is always going to be, that kind of a person. So it was a cool thing to see before the game today.
Very nice. And hopefully, I don't know, when did they announce that, the Roberto Clemente Award?
I feel like they do it during the postseason.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's got a good shot.
Yeah. Fans can vote now. So get on there and vote for him.
Stuff the ballot box. All right, Jared, we appreciate it. Thank you for first and foremost filling in for Ryan, because we know that a softball Media League championship is a big deal. A big deal.
It's the biggest.
It can change you guys' life.
Yeah. We'll talk about this day for years to come, Jared.
Someday Ryan will tell his kids about it.
That's right. And someday I'm going to tell Ryan's kids about it. Hey,
your dad never would have been able to play if it weren't for me doing the actual work.
Your dad wouldn't be a 2-time Cup League champion if it weren't for me. Yep.
Yeah. Don't you forget it, kid.
All right. Look for Jared's work on our website, of course, and diehards. That's the kind of thing you don't want to miss out on. So make sure you subscribe to be a diehard, and you won't ever miss any of Jared or Ryan's articles and postings. Jared, thanks, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
So, yeah, softball. We did want to tell, by the way, also, while we celebrate the crown, as you've seen, again.
Eventually the trophy will be there.
Eventually the trophy will be there, probably
and also,
tomorrow.
Again, Ryan is going to do a beer bat. He did a beer bat last year for the softball team.
Right.
For
maybe we get Ryan and
so.
Joey to do it. There it is.
Yeah. I'm not doing any more beer bats the rest of the year. Actually, I'm going to do a beer bat the Monday after the season is over. I might do 3 beer bats in one show the day after the season is over. One for every segment to celebrate the season being over. The season could not possibly be over any faster. That's true, yes. That is where I'm at. I feel bad being this negative on a show they won 9-2, but I'm just letting y'all know, for anyone asking, I'm not doing any more beer bats until the season is over.
That's it?
Until we get to the very end.
We should point out that we have some events coming up. Friday, of course, first of all, is a Friday 120 Club.
Yep.
And we only have 2 left this season. We have a watch-along coming up on the 19th against the Nats. And where's that? That's just we kind of like watch the game, hang out. You can hang out. Right. We're sitting here watching the game live on YouTube, hanging out, talking about chilies or whatever else you want to talk about while we watch the Cubs game. Ryan will probably tell stories from the softball field.
Probably.
I'm just guessing.
It's a Thursday, so
that's this Thursday night, right?
I'm thinking that maybe the Ass Man might be pitching that game.
We'll probably have Steele to talk about. Maybe he will have pitched by then.
Yeah.
So that's coming up Thursday. Friday, we have the Friday 120 Club. Then on Sunday, we have the Bears watch party at Joe's on Weed. Now, that's a great place, first of all. Weed Street.
It's a great place.
River North.
Considered
Lincoln Park.
I
guess I'd call it Lincoln Park.
Yeah, it's Lincoln Park. Yeah.
But it's a great location. They have a lot of good concerts and stuff there. That's where we had the draft party, which was
awesome.
As the kids say, lit.
Probably our best event that we've put on in our 2.5 years.
Yeah, there were a lot of people. We packed that place.
Yeah.
So here's the deal on the Bears watch party, okay? Pre- and post-game show will be done live from the event. So what does that mean? September 22nd, 11 a.m., pregame starts. We're going to have Bears memorabilia giveaways. It's the Bears against the Colts. Frankly, it's a game they got to win now. Colts got a lot of guys that are hurt, and you've got to beat them. You got to beat them while they're down. And it's 21 and older to attend. You can't bring your 8-year-old kid because $65 all you can drink from 11:30 to the end of the game.
Oh, that's a great deal.
History. And it's not just like beer.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we're gonna have some great specials and stuff, but the $65, it's pretty much they'll have a list on our website, right? At allchgo.com. But it's pretty much everything.
Yeah. And the bar's pretty big too, so you're not
huge.
You're
not gonna be
You're not gonna
it's
feel
not
cramped.
New Year's Eve. It's not New Year's Eve. You're not gonna be waiting 7 deep in line.
Yeah. There's like 6 bars inside this bar.
And they have great televisions to watch stuff. It's a great location to watch a game with friends. And
and all of
next game's the most important one. And it is.
The biggest thing outside of the fact that the Bears will be playing is the fact that all of us from CHGO will be there.
That's right.
A large majority of us, at least.
Including
I plan to be there. I don't know if you plan to be there.
Including it's on the fence because it's my wife's birthday. Lance Briggs, unless I can get her to go, which possible.
Ooh, I get to finally maybe meet Kate.
Lance Briggs, Alex Brown, Corey Wooten, all going to be there.
Yeah.
That's a vibe. That's a vibe right there.
I haven't even met those guys.
I can't confirm this. I can confirm Lance Briggs, Alex Brown, Corey Wooten, and Carm, but it is possible the championship trophy will be there as well.
Yeah, you can get a picture with the
not the Lombardi, but the cup trophy.
It's the only thing we're winning in this city. You might as well come get a picture with it.
Drink from the cup is what we say. That's what should happen at halftime. At halftime, that should be the music, and Alex Brown should come in this crown in a royal robe and present the trophy to the CHGO family.
That'd be sick.
That's what I would like to see. That was good, Sarah.
That was good.
Very well thought of. Anyways, so that's what we got
As
going
the kids would say, very demure of me.
Yeah. Demure.
Do you know
Very
what that
demure.
means?
Demure.
Oh my gosh.
How about Demirs? Okay. The Bears. Anyways, shout out to George for the broadcast of the softball game tonight. It made our night. I hope it made yours as well. There it is. The cup. The epic cup. Not the Crosstown Cup. This is the cup that matters right there.
Yeah.
Champions of the Media League once again. The
Listen,
Cup Media League.
we would love to be more happy about, in our case, the Cubs. In the rest of the city, the other
We're
teams
happy
in the
about
city,
a 9-2 win and showed
I
all
am
that
happy
stuff.
about
That's
a
what
9.
we talked about.
I am
for
happy about
55
it.
minutes.
We did. What I was getting at is I would love to be happy about these teams in this city and some success. But for 2 straight years, CHGO continues to carry the winning in this, carry the standard.
That's right.
No one has touched our standard. And that's unfortunate considering half the softball team are just Carm's friends that decided to help play with them.
Listen, when you win back-to-back championships in the city of Chicago, none of us should ever buy another dinner in this city.
I would absolutely
We should never pay
agree.
for another meal in the city. We should be able to go to Gibson's on the house.
Yep. Oshawa on the house.
On the house.
Yep.
Cone next door for a cone on the house.
On the house.
Anyways, this show has been on the house. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast. 9-2 Cubs beat the A's. CHGO, the softball champs, until tomorrow night after the game. Thanks for watching and fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.